Now, today we're talking our ladies, our beautiful women, because of course it's Wednesday and Woman Crush Wednesday, and we are focusing hard on our women. So, hey, how about you also pick this card up and give it to that special woman of yours today? It's a 50% discount voucher for any spend you put on the breakfast at Hallmark. Come and pick it up. Very simple. Jump on our socials, 3 Music Networks or plus 899 FM, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You find us on there, and then you can just have a conversation with us. Just tweet at us, talk to us, wish somebody a happy birthday, mention some beautiful girl's name, tag her, and when we just see you, we'll give it to you. Easy does it, no sweat. Well, today's convo as well, and before I continue, let me say big shouts going out to one remarkable young man who's into the profession of barbering, and he's doing something, not you, Cyril. He's doing something very remarkable. I just forgot, I remembered. He's actually training young girls and encouraging them into barbering. Yes. How often do you walk into barbering shops and you find women doing this? And he is going out of his way. So shouts going out to Andis the Barber. You can tag him or follow him on Andis Barber 1 if you want more info on this initiative that he's put out there. For young girls, graduates, unemployed, if you want to get yourself into barbering, right now when it comes to barbering, like boys know they take play, you understand? Boys know they take play. Shouts to Celebrity Barber and all the people like that. So people like that, and how they're turning the craft of barbering into a very professional and plus sought after career. So shouts going out to them. And then Andis Barber, so check him out, Andis Barber 1. Just go on there on his Instagram and get in touch with him if you're a young girl and you want to learn how to, get into the professional barbering. And on the back of that, today being Wednesday, Woman Crush Wednesday as well, we are going to talk about women in leadership positions, or the impact of women in media, the impact of women in media in our industry. So we have lovely guests this morning joining us on the show, and these guests all represent various generations of women or girls who have played key roles in this space we call in our entertainment media space, and we are honored to have them join us. They've been back in for a while. Well, one of them been back in for a while. The other, who's recently been on our platforms, you've seen her do her thing. I'll let you know who she is. But of course, you may have spotted her on other platforms, movies, films, short films. And of course our very own in-house Lerny, who is always here with us, beautiful as ever. So today, let me welcome on our platform, in Studio 899, our very own Empress Neeta, looking as glamorous as ever. Shouts going out to you.
Hello.
And our very own sweetheart, Protector 1.
Protector 2.
Highly protected. Highly protected Essilfua. You can catch us as she's already on your trending live. Now we're going to be talking about experiences of women in media, and of course they represent various generations. They're going to share their experiences with us. There's a whole lot of conversations we're going to be having today, and if you're out there and want to be on this convo as well, feel free to jump onto our social media platforms and let's have this conversation. Now, when it comes to dealing or treating the topic of women, it's very sensitive, as how the world in itself has not given so much opportunity to women. But however, some people in other cases, it might be funny, guys. Let me share this to you. So someone said that, women. So when it comes to the number of people who have died in wars with regards to like fighting forefront is men. When it comes to people, they mentioned quite a number of things that was men related, but still the world hasn't been fair, if you ask me, to women. And it's a conversation we're going to be having today about how we can document some of these experiences, and it goes a long way to also encourage you out there, if you're a young girl who is focused on getting yourself to the top. These ladies in here have made it happen in their own small way, and today we celebrate them. Neeta, Lerny, and Essilfua, and our very own sweetheart Cyril. No, don't mention it. Oh man. All right. Anyway, so where do we kick this off? Listen, the ultimate question that I'm going to ask the ultimate is, would things have been different if we had more women in influential leadership positions? That is the top post question at 9:50 that we're going to answer. Okay? So whilst we are having this conversation, think through it. Let it digest and settle in, and then let's look at what would the world have been if we had more women in influential leadership positions. So, for example, Nigeria's president, the next president, were a woman. Was there a woman standing in the presidency?
No.
There was no,
There was
no woman in the SAD. It was only filled with men.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation as well before. We had quite influential women join us on the show. We made reference to some of them out there as well, and we've already seen the impact that they are making. Anyway, all right, now let's get into the conversation. So let me start off with how do we map out this generation?
Why are you making me feel
Essy's
old
generation
already?
fresh will be fresh generation.
Fresh.
So that's yesterday.
Yes.
Today is first
Cyril
March.
says
So
30
that's
seconds ago.
20 seconds ago.
We put Lerny in the category of in fact, mid 2000s, right?
Oh, Lerny 86,
I'll
87.
actually be 10 years next year.
10 years next
really?
year. Yes,
Yeah.
so mid
God willing.
2000s is fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's nice.
Mid 2000. And then Empress Neeta, please, on the words of our senior producer who is speaking into my ears, telling me
Forget that guy.
Neeta, I should date Neeta to 3 decades, which is actually
How old is she?
yes.
Why are you making me feel old already?
That is what they make me feel here. But I take it. I like it. It's fine.
Godfather.
Yes, I've named myself Godfather.
I
Maybe
think
I
I-
check.
So you just add the Empress to the Neeta so that it makes it a whole.
So Empress
Yes,
Neeta.
Empress Neeta.
So if you give
Yeah.
me 3 decades, I still want it.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm an Empress. So,
Yeah.
Now, let me ask, before I ask you ladies, let me ask Cyril this question. Would you think or say that all these generations have been different with regards to how women have been engaged from sitting back and watching?
Yeah,
Before I come to them.
definitely different because it's now more prevalent. It's easier to see women, especially at the front line of the media space, because things have, I wouldn't want to use the phrase loosen up, but things have become a bit more equally matched. Usually used to be a male-dominated space where, for whatever reason, it was rare. You'd have typical roles like the news anchor, there's always a man and a woman, or a female weather person, or whether there's a specific woman-centric story, then for the balance, they send out a woman. But a lot of the heavy hitters in the space were men. But now we've had, like you said, in the last 2 decades, 1 decade, we've had a lot of female engagement frontline at various states. And even Hollywood is resonating with this. In the last year, we've had Woman King, which was directed, starred, scripted by women. Even Wakanda Forever, Black Panther was led heavily by women. I believe it was a woman who wrote and directed the story. Black Panther herself is now a woman. Angela Bassett got the Oscar for her performance finally. So women have consciously been put front and center in the last decade. And from where we are now, I mean, soon maybe you and I won't get a job.
Very, very soon. I mean, we won't get jobs. Also, Whitney Boakye, who's also a media entrepreneur, will be joining us via Zoom on the show, and she would hate also for a very, well-established personality in the industry, and she'll share her experiences with us as well. But let me start from yesterday, or we should start from let's start from yesterday, right? Okay, so Essie, it's good morning. How you doing?
I'm great. You?
Yeah, Essie, we are still doing trending lives. So it's I mean, Essie, share your story with us and how this kick started for you, when it really started off. Then we can calculate how long. Okay, because we know it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Just yesterday.
Okay, so for me, after senior high school, I told my parents that I wanted.
2000 and. Okay.
2010.
It's been, I think, almost 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, give or take.
All right. From SHS.
So from
SHS,
SHS, right?
yes. So
That's
about
what I
4
wanted
years
to.
now.
No, not from SHS. As in, when I actually entered and then started actually doing work from runway modeling to presenting, doing like vox pops on the streets to acting,
it's been 4 years
mainstream acting, yes, all of it.
All right.
So I was talking about how I got in, right? So after SS, I told my parents that I wanted to go to NAFTI so that I can do something in regards to acting and producing. And my dad outright said no, and they're going to sleep with me. That's what no. He wanted me to be a lawyer. Yeah. And he outright said, no, they will just sleep with you and waste your time. This was his exact words. And so he said no. And so I was supposed to go to Legon. I picked law, but I didn't get it. He gave me English and sociology or something like that. And so I also didn't want that. We had a back and forth. But later, I went to Valley View instead. A whole braha for another day. But after that, being in school, I still was sneaking to do work. I was going for auditions. I remember very well going for Yvonne's auditions, and my parents didn't approve, so it was like quite tough. It was like, auditions. What if you get
Wait, mention Yvonne, you mean Yvonne Nelson?
Yvonne Nelson,
for movies?
Yes, for movies,
okay.
Yes. And it's like, what if you get the role? What are you going to tell them? Because it's going to be on TV, but I still tried to go for auditions because I had passion for this thing. I've always wanted to be in media, like growing up. So I still
being in front of the cameras. When we say media is broad, and that's one thing we'll be correcting today.
That's actually true.
Yeah, so being in front of the cameras.
Actually, both sides, because I like to create stuff and watch it come to fruition, and I also would like to assume certain roles in front of the camera. So I like it both ways, right?
Front and back.
Front and right. Front and back.
Being real.
Yeah, so
the girls say they like our front and back.
If you can excuse us, please. The information reaching me is that Jay will be excusing us. Guys, ladies, please say thank you to Jay.
Now,
so you were telling us about front and back. Let's go.
Basically, I tried and did. I did a lot of things. I've done modeling and all of it, and I had to sneak around till one day I decided that no, this is what I want to do.
Stop, and so hold on right there. You're going too fast. Now, in these worlds that you mentioned, modeling and film, when you got onto these platforms and these areas to do these auditions, did it come with any of such? What were some of the challenges you experienced on there as a woman?
Okay,
or a girl, sorry.
It's like when you go for auditions, they expect you to be something look a certain way. So me, I was from home. I was babysitting actually when I heard about the audition. So I just moved as I was. I just wore something nice and I got there. And apparently I was told that I was supposed to come in makeup and heels because I'm a lady and it's an audition. And I also didn't put on makeup at that point. So that was like a learning curve for me. Even though I felt like, why do I have to be in makeup to be accepted into the space? As an
pause
actress.
Right there. We're going to continue the story, but let me just throw this question to everyone because I want us, because of time, just quickly have a 5-minute conversation on this. Do women feel, like she's mentioned, that they expect a certain way? Is it right for some of these platform holders to expect a certain, speak against your body type and structure and all before you qualify to do certain things? How does it make you feel?
Ideally, that's not how it's supposed to be. But I mean, these are private-owned businesses. Everyone has what they are looking out for, and you cannot go and change it. But ideally, I mean, the looks and all shouldn't be a problem. But you go for auditions. I remember there were times that you go for auditions and they tell you they want fair girls.
Yes.
Yes, they want fair girls, and you need to be slim. You need to be some type of way before they can, take you on board.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Actually, me, it hasn't happened to me, and I don't think it can make me feel less of a person because, I'm me. I decide what I want to do with my body, and you cannot tell me how to run my body or what to do to my body. If you think that I don't fit in your space, fine, I'll find someone else and then go.
That's very sensitive. We'll come to that. We'll detail that. I just wanted us to have an idea of how women feel like when sometimes some of these things become impediments to even just growing through a passion that you have. So like you're saying.
Yeah, so I almost wasn't let in to see Yvonne and the other panelists, the judging. And I think later, the guy was like, he had me rehearsing with someone, the partner that I picked, and so he was like, okay, I can go in, right? And I'd rehearsed, and I was thinking, so does it mean that being talented and having, knowing the job, your looks can stop you from getting in there. And that's when I learned that, yes, your looks actually can stop you from going to certain spaces, especially when it's very saturated. Like, it's not just you. There were so many people there. Why should we let you in when somebody is dressed in makeup? There were so many people dressed in makeup. You've come raw as yourself and you want us to let you in. No. You know, so it was by a big miracle that they let me in. I got in there, I killed it, and they asked me to wait. I think it was for heels and sneakers. Yeah, they asked me to wait so that when we are done, they can talk to all those they picked. And my mom called me and she's like, where are you? And I remembered I left my brother at home. I was babysitting him and I left him with food and toys and I didn't know what was going on. So I had to go home and go and check on him. I couldn't come back. So I lost that opportunity after stressing myself. Yeah, my parents not being in support of this career was like something that took a toll on me and what delayed my entry into like
Shouts to Step, who's in the background now, who's Shouts going out to the legend Step, yes.
mainstream media. But then when I made a decision and I spoke to them, you know, it was a great decision. They were not in support entirely. They just said I was going to waste my time every time, especially when I started doing shoots. They're like, every day, we speak Fanti at home, so and I'm like, gosh. And you know how long it takes for production, especially in acting. You there's now pre-production before the actual production,
before it comes,
before post-production. What do you call the sound scoring, right? Yeah, all of that. It can take a long time before the movie comes out. And I'm in the house with my father, and he's waiting for the movie, the product of all the sleepless nights you gave him when he had to come and open the door for you, you know, that kind of thing. It was really tough for me. But when I did Sky Girls and the billboards were all over Accra and Kumasi, gosh.
The narrative changed.
It was crazy. My dad literally had a picture of every single billboard in Accra and had his friends take pictures of the ones in Kumasi. And he made the flyer of the movie his GP. You have no idea. He was so proud. But then before, the struggles we went through, at a point, I thought he was going to disown me.
So after Sky Girls, fast forward, after Sky Girls, then what did you get engaged in again?
So I also went, I got a recommendation to do a tour. That's for Mary Stopes. It's also a series that tackles, you know, reproductive health in adolescents and safe abortions and, you know, it gives insights to all the things that the youth are doing that the parents should know about and how parents can go about tackling these issues that their children are going through. Yeah. Okay. So it's for both parents and, you know, teenagers. It gives parents insights to, like, you know, what to do when your child comes to you with maybe, oh, there's a cute boy in my school, you know, don't just shun them. That kind of thing. It's very educative.
Would you say for a young girl who's engaged in media, such other engagements like what you experienced with Mary Stopes would be key tutoring, education that a woman would need, a young girl would need walking through the space? Yeah,
I mean, I believe so. It's really important to be guided in everything you do. I mean, I would have loved for my parents to understand, like, my passion earlier. And, you know, tell me, go here. And, I mean, they know people.
Would it have been different if you were a boy?
Oh, yes, I believe so. Because, I mean, no shade to my parents, though. I know they're watching. But my brother, who's the last born, has options, you know. He's in an international school, you know. They want to make sure they are getting it right with him. Like, everything is... So if my brother wakes up and he says he wants to be a pilot or something like that, it's gone. That's what they're gonna tread. Okay.
Aside from the parental bit, which is very normal for a parent to worry over a young girl, because trust me, serial daughter who will not even see Osu Oxford Street to know that there's something called papaya there.
No, she go eat the papaya, but she go there for the rich to pay. For the rich. Bro, I will hold you.
So I want to be. I'll be moving to Empress Neeta and Lerny soon, but. Aside from the parental care, did you feel at any point in time that just because you were a girl in the space of this journey, you were not given easy opportunity to climb to places and platforms?
I mean, I felt like that a couple of times with regards to, how do I put it? Like, the role is like, a guy would do this better. You know, maybe, let's say with regards to So before, right, I used to do at Alpha 9 Studios, I used to do the sound. People don't believe me because when they look at my arm, they're like, how do you lift the boom mic? But I actually used to do it. And several times we were going on set and they're like, oh, who is going to do sound? The sound guy didn't come. And I'm like, I can do it. And several times I had to like literally prove to them that I can do it. And when we're on set and I get tired, I can't put it down because I said I can do it.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that I'm actually doing it. And trust me, there's so many times that I was tired, but just to prove to them that even though I'm a girl, I can do it. My arms will be up in the air and I'll be shaking. You can see that in my hands.
And boom, here you are today.
Yeah.
Great journey.
Thank you.
Let me come to mid 2000s. Yeah, because we have an hour left, and because the conversation. No, you are also coming from I wouldn't say further, but because of you had more engagements. Yes, so that's how come we are saving. Yeah. Lerny, what has it been for you? We've touched on this before, but let's just run through again real quickly.
Yes, we have. For me, for my journey, it's been okay. It's been good so far. Also because at this point that I'm at, I'm grateful for it. So I started with an internship, right? So I started with an internship when I was in my third year in uni. So I did that, and then I finished uni. I did my national service as well at Live FM. So I did that for like a year. Then I moved to Oceans TV for about a year and a half, and then I moved to 3 Music for a few months, and then I started my own production, TV and all of that, and then got into content production for other people as well. And then I did Dominion TV, and then I got back to 3 Music. So that's how it's been for me.
So
that's how it's been for me with moving, especially in this space. But in going into details as well, for me, I think that I've always gotten the support from my mom. I think that's what it is. I mean, just opposing with what Essilfua was saying, my mom has always pushed me and wanted me to do this. I remember from a really young age where I'm doing dictation every evening. Like every single evening, you are doing dictation. She'll make sure you are doing it. She'll make sure that there's no day you come home and you are not doing your dictation. You are not reading the books you're supposed to be reading, storybooks and all of that. I had just so many of those things. So that also helped shape up what I wanted to do. I mean, I was really young, but I was looking up to the likes of what's it called? Bolare. I was looking up to Anita Eskin. I was looking up to Josie. You remember Josie, right? So there was Josie, Bolare, and Stacey Martin when they were doing music. Yes, so I was looking up to all of those people as well. Delay came in along the line. So all these people, Nanaba, Namwa, all these people have helped shape.
You were wishing to be like them, which was good inspiration.
Yes.
Did you have an idea of how to get there?
For an idea of how to get there. So I say this thing all the time. My first ever audition, I went to TV3, but I was 13 and I didn't know. We were on midterm. So my mom went to drop me and then she left. And then I was in the queue for a long time. And then it was almost my turn. And they came to, they were passing around papers for names and all of that. Then one of the guys says, no, you're 13. You're so young. You can't do the audition. 13? Yes, I was 13.
I thought you meant number 13 or something. You were 13 years old.
Yes, I was 13 years. He said, you are so young. You can't do the audition. We are taking 18 and above. So
what audition?
For a TV show.
And you wanted to host a TV show at
13? No, I didn't know. They just opened it up for auditions. I mean, there were kids shows and all of that.
Your mom that she should go and drop you off.
Yeah, so she went. It was midterm now. It was I mean, there were so many children's shows, so it's possible. So then I'm like, okay, it's fine. So I left. And then the following year, when I turned 14, and then I was done with JHS, I went to Sunny FM because we lived at Kokomlemle, so it was close to Sunny FM. And Sunny FM at that time had a kids show as well. So I went to Sunny FM, and then they made me, do just a recording in their studio. Because when I went there, see, I've always had this sort of confidence.
This was a voiceover.
Yes, no, not a voiceover. I walked into Sunny FM at 14 after JHS, and I said that I wanted
13,
to
you
do
went to
TV.
TV3, 14,
Yes.
you went to Sunny FM.
I went to Sunny FM the following year. It was the following year. So when I went there and I said to them that they have a kids show that I want to host, then they said, okay, so I should come in. They made me record a voice just like to listen to my voice. Then one of the men there were like, oh, I have a really good voice. So what he would advise me to do is to record my voice and listen to it often. Do I have a phone that I can do that on? I say yes. So since then
At
I was
14?
Yeah.
What phone was that?
Oh, it was a flat Motorola. You know,
Who gave
there were
it to you?
these. My mom.
Okay.
Yeah,
one flip.
really
That was
flat,
direct-
really
direct.
flat. So I was using that. So I went to SS. In SS, I didn't venture any of that. So after SS, again, I walked into YFM and I met one of their managers. He's a really popular person.
Wasn't
He's
me?
short. No, it wasn't you. He's
Nana
short.
Kwame Osei-Sapon,
Nana
of course.
Kwame, that's the name. That's the name. So when I met him, when I went there and I met him and I said, oh, I want to get on radio. And then he says, the space is really small. They don't even do a lot of interns. They just do one intern. At that time, YFM was upstairs. They just do one intern at a time, and he thinks I have a nice voice. Again, what I can do, what he would advise me to do since I'm done with SS, when I go to uni, which uni do I want to go to? I said University of Ghana. He said, okay, so there's Radio Universe in University of Ghana, so I can get on there and do it. Now, guess what? After that advice, I got into uni. I was so swamped, so into whatever I was doing in school in relation to academics, and then I was in the theatre arts department as well, and I loved it. I spent so much time at the department. That was just a thing for me. So level 400, I now remember that, oh, I'm almost done with school. I was told to actually go to Radio Universe. So I went to Radio Universe, and then one of the people I met there also said they actually don't take level 400 because then you're almost done with school.
Yeah,
so they advise that when you come in level 100, 200, 300, but when you're almost done, it's just difficult. I said, okay, no problem. Then I went to Star FM.
Okay.
So at Star FM, yes, at Star FM, I met someone that introduced me to Coffee Day, right? And then Coffee Day introduced me. Coffee Day was really instrumental in this. He introduced me to Emma, right? Yes, he introduced me to Emma, yes. But constantly, Coffee Day was like, I can call him if anything after the conversation with Emma. So he introduced me to Emma.
I like that point. Let me hammer on it that so that people do understand that, listen, equally as yes, some men might stifle your growth, there are other men who are also out there to give opportunity to young women, you know, when they identify true potential. And it's good that we hammer on
and
that.
don't want anything in return. You have to have that.
Yes,
Like don't want anything at all. Nothing at all in return. Nothing at all in return.
Okay.
So Coffee Day was like, okay, since I'm in 400, I was almost done with school. So when I finish my last paper, I should let him know. But then I fixed the day with Emma. I went to see her and all of that. And then fast forward, I finished school. And then she said, okay, I should come in for an interview, right? That day, I went into the interview. Vaughn was there. Jeff was there. Cox was there.
For the benefit of those who don't know,
Listen.
these are industry.
Wow.
So that people don't get confused.
Okay.
These are
Big
all very
Big
influential
names.
names at the back end of media who are, you know, like media stakeholders. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So I get into the interview and I was just, I was very comfortable. We had a conversation. That interview was a conversation. They were all asking me questions if I know about Live FM, you know. Then they're like, okay. I had Star in mind when I was going, but then they said because of my age and all of that, so they're going to push me to Live FM. So I was pushed to Live FM, and then I started my internship at Live FM, which led to me doing my national service. And then at Live FM as well, I started with production. I had a segment on air. So I had my Eat Right segment as well. And then I was sitting in for Bella when she doesn't come for her entertainment show. Then
So media,
Jay, that's what I'm saying. I'm coming to it.
Media
right?
beast.
It's what I'm saying. Jay was a boss then at Live FM, right? So he actually helped
Like
push
you tried
me.
something at
And
Boakye.
I'm the type that I'm the type that is always asking for feedback. So that's, I mean, Jay can attest to that. I'll always ask for feedback after everything. If I have to sit in for Bella, because at that time I was looking up to Bella as well, right? So whenever I go and do the entertainment segment and I'm done, I'm like, how did I do, right? But the feedback was always, you know, really
And I tell you
good.
what, that I think that with my years of experience, I've realized that women are more, or girls, females are more forceful and aggressive in getting there than some of the boys. The guys are more relaxed, you know. But girls, like you're saying, feedback, push you. Because when you mentioned Bella, for example, as well, similar to her, I mean, she had good TV experience, but radio was new to her, and she was eager. When I gave her the call, she was so eager to do this. And even when she was at Live FM, hosting a show in the afternoon on the afternoon show, she was also very focused on. She wanted to have her own show, you know, and be able to express herself better. And I like that, similar to what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, from Live FM, I finished my national service and then I moved to Oceans TV. I did their entertainment show for about a year and a half. And then I left, so to 3 Music when we were on TV3. When we were on TV3. So we did that as well. And then I had to leave and I started my own production, like I said. So, and then I did Dominion and I'm back here. So that's how my journey has been really.
Well, it's a master session, not even a master class, a master session with these beautiful ladies today. Now, you say this all nicely and make it look like it's just one thing to the next. And I went to Oceans, and from Oceans, when I walked, I catwalk into TV, they were like, oh, you look good, you know what, come in. I wish that were the story, but we'll come into the nitty-gritty details of what makes this journey sometimes very different as compared to a guy. So now, Neeta, yours, also something I really want to hear.
Really long, though.
Really long, please. It's 9:12.
Maybe you should set a timer or something.
Yes.
Hey, let's go.
By the way, if you're moved by any of these stories, we'd love to hear from you as well. Just tweet at any of these ladies, plus our Free Music handle, Twitter, and then let us grant you or gift you with this gift card as well. Trust me, the studio is just...
Our producer is having a mental breakdown,
Can
so
you believe
forgive us.
our producer walks into the studio behind camera and is hopping this way? Imagine, they tag you. HR, please. Anyway, Neeta, yes. How and where?
Okay, so it started from senior high school. I was actually involved. God. I was involved a lot in entertainment in school. Like anytime
Which school
there
was
was
that?
Martin Senior High.
Okay.
So anytime there was entertainment, I was actually the school's MC.
Oh.
You know? Yeah, I was
MC
dancing.
Neeta.
Oh yeah?
I was dancing. I was part of Intercom.
You were an MC in school,
Yes.
and I haven't seen you at the front again since then.
I actually tried. I won't say I tried. I did, but I prefer being backdoor.
Okay, we'll discuss that here.
Yeah.
We'll drill down.
It actually started from school. I was involved a lot. Like anything entertainment, I was part of it. So right after school, I went to do some courses at NIT. Then I jumped to XFM. So then 2131 was there.
Yeah.
I used to see you a lot. I'm like, okay, how do I continue? Why? What happened? What happened?
You want to go back in time?
I don't talk anything. No, I just snap.
I used to stand at the top there and see you a lot. I'm like, I'm going to do this one day, you know. So I did online writing at XFM. I did production and continued for a while. Like
Was
for
this
like
the
6 months.
beginning of the first fresh days of XFM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. With
So I was around. No, it was
after the
Johnny
Qualified.
Blaze,
Okay, all right.
movie. That era. Yeah. So and after. I was actually in school. I went to AUCC, African University College of Communications. When my results came, I wanted to go to Legon. But I realized that I really wanted to do journalism and I wanted to do the practical bit of it. Like, if I go to Legon, I'll have to probably do information, something, you know. And it was a long process for me. So I decided that I didn't want to go to GIJ as well. So let me go to African University College of Communications. So I went there. I started up there. But whilst I was schooling, I was doing internship elsewhere. So from XFM, I went to TV3. So I did my first 3 months of internship at TV3. Then it was Nanaba, Sandra, Ankobia, Ama Kea Bebrese. Then, so I worked with them for a while. I did production there.
Okay.
I used to leave very late because I was learning. I learned from Fafali, one of the producers, and she's really, really good. So I was understudying her for a while, and then my internship ended. Then I requested to do another 3 months. So I did 6 months at TV3. That was my first year in uni. Then in second year in uni, I left TV3. I went to multimedia. Trust me, when I was going to multimedia, I didn't know anybody there. I just walked in there one time, and then I met Mr. Samir Renchi. He was actually the programs manager for Asempa then. So he's like, okay, I'll introduce you to Marco Boakye-Mensah, Honorable now. And he did. So when he met me, the first day he met me, he liked me. Not what you're thinking. But he liked me. He liked my energy and all that. We spoke for a while. It's like, start work on Monday.
Okay, wow.
And then I was like, how? I was like, just come to work on Monday. So that's how it started. He actually nurtured me. I was like, I'm Mark's bodyguard daughter now, but then I used to be like his PA sort of, everything, anything Mark. If you're looking for Mark and you cannot find Mark, okay, come and say,
ask me.
Exactly. So I did a lot of things for him. He had Slip Entertainment. He did events and all that. So I was running in Slip Entertainment and doing multimedia at the same time. I did writing there. I did production. I was everywhere. And funny enough, like everywhere I went, I could fit.
Yeah.
And I did the job efficiently. So people liked me.
Production?
Yes.
Okay.
So people liked me. I even learned, I think I learned production proper from Mr. Hagler, Hits FM. Yes. So I started producing the morning show until one time, I was actually an assistant. Until one time he said he was going on leave. So I should take over. And that was it. Like, that was when the approval came and all that. Everybody knew that, she could do it. Then I had other shows, like Max set up new shows and then asked me to take over, So I did all that. And
2 minutes more.
Hey, two down. So I did all that and for about 4 years. Then a baby came in, so I had to go,
We'll detail that story. But
yes. So I had to go, and then after the baby, I went to xylophone. Also, I went to do production. But actually, at Hit FM, I was doing on air as well.
Okay.
I was doing on air. I was producing the news and sometimes did it on air. And also, xylophone, yes, I was on air on xylophone. I was on the morning show. I actually produced the news review. That was like the first hour of Showbiz Agenda, hosted by Sammy Flex. But I was doing the first hour. I was producing the first hour and presenting it as well. So that was when people started getting to know of Empress Neeta, because I was very blunt. Like, I if you know me personally, I don't know how to spice up how I feel about some things or how to. Not even massage. I can't fool you. Right. I'll tell you exactly how it is. So some people liked it, some people didn't like it, and that was how the whole Empress Neeta brand started.
Interesting. I know there are parts of the story that we may have missed out, but we'll be detailing them in a very different way. Yeah. So one of the key things I've picked from all three of you has been you made movements at the times you felt you were growing, and you also identified opportunities and you took them on. In accessing these places, I want to understand from all three of you how the experience was like. Easy, simple, walk through the park, challenges, convincing, persistency. I want to understand when you had to move. You can just highlight the most difficult one and then and share with us. Let me start off with you, Essie. Who started off with yesterday?
Okay, so with regards to getting on Sky Girls, for instance, it was a bit of a challenge for me.
We've
No,
left
but I'm not here. Am I here? They are passing the tea, Anita and Lerny and Essilfua and Anita and Lerny. Am I here? I'm not here. No, it's cool. Today I'm not here.
Please, how was your story?
Viewers, I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm not here. No, it's you was talking. Let her finish. Now you remember me. Now you remember me, bro. Oh, bro. Me and you, they chop our bed flute early morning. Then we come do our show. All of a sudden, the whole... No problem. It's cool.
Before Cyril got the job
Don't worry.
Music.
Man Crash Monday. I'll tell my story. Man Crash Monday.
You know you paid bribe.
Man Crash Monday. I'll tell my story.
Bribe.
Fine,
Producer
fine.
said I paid bribe. I told the producer. The person saying it is the one who took my money from his company.
All right. Please, I'm making sure if you have questions to answer.
I don't have questions yet. I'm listening. Now you remember me.
Don't
Bro,
worry, your producer is on drugs.
the producer and the host. They are doing the thing together and they are
On drugs.
Please.
No, let her land. I have questions for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay, awesome. So before I got getting onto Sky Girls, knowing what Sky Girls stands for, it was quite a big deal.
What does it
And
stand for?
So Sky Girls is there for the young kids. It's an anti-smoking NGO where they want to let the young girls know that they are great. They just need to be themselves and put themselves out there and do what is true to them, and they always have to be true to themselves in anything that they do. It helps them build confidence. It teaches them a lot of skills, and it means whenever you're put on that platform, it means that you're going to be that ambassador for young girls. I've had I got the opportunity to work with people like Sina Soul,
They were all Sky
Mariam.
Girls.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're Sky Sisters. That's what
Sky Sisters.
That's what they call us. They're the Sky Sisters.
Hey.
Mimi, she won Miss Malika in 2018. I've worked with Ecole McLean was also on there. We had some Sky guys, that's what we call them, because the movie can't be just, girls. We had guys on there. Yeah, and I've gotten the chance to meet so many people in this, but before I got in there, I was doubting myself, am I that person that people can look up to? I bet you I almost didn't go for the audition. And I got the info about 3 hours to the end of the audition, and I was just doubting myself. And I remember Kale Papo, he was the one that told me, you can do this. You've wanted this your whole life, and it's here, and you want to, take it back. So I got there, and I met the likes of Eddie Sedor. He's awesome. That's one amazing man. I heard sometimes Jackie Appiah even congratulated him, said thank you to him for making her.
Yeah.
And he's that one person that put me on. When I went in there, I didn't have that confidence. I just decided to switch it off and just do me and give them who Essilfua is. And glory be to God, they loved me. And then that's when
Cyril, I'm cutting you. I like her story now gives us an idea of how the industry is now with regards to how it embraces women. Let's see if it were any different with regards to Lerny and Empress Neeta. So you hold it right there. Let me
Eddie Sedos.
Yeah, Lerny,
Cool.
yours. Also, you mentioned strutting through various media houses and brands. Let's hammer some of the most unforgettable experiences of accessing some of these places.
It will be for me the fact that I was able to walk into the places without knowing anybody.
Yeah.
I was able to walk into these spaces without knowing anybody. Just Vim, inshallah, and Vim and vibes. Yes, and then all of the people that I went through. I think it's also how I present myself, right?
Okay.
It's rather
Very
unfortunate that coming into this industry, some people struggle, especially with sexual advances being made at them, right? But I have not had that experience yet. That's what I'm saying. Also because of how I present myself, I'm not coming to you begging. If you don't have the job, okay, I'm going. Bye bye.
Yeah.
That's what's been for me.
But
because
did they throw such advances?
no, that's what I'm saying. It's never happened with me. It's never come my way, and I'm grateful for that confidence that I've had. So those have been my peak moments, because if you look at it, it's been like a thread, literally. Because if I hadn't gone to TV3, that time I went. I wouldn't have the vim to go to Sunny FM. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have the vim to go to YFM. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have the vim years later to go to Radio Universe. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have the vim to go to Star, which actually kickstarted my journey. You know, exactly. So if I didn't have that, if I had just tried once or twice and sat back, I wouldn't be here today. So I think the high points for me have been my guts, the fact that I'm able to up and say, okay, today I'm
What about
going
the low
here,
points?
and then
Because you make it sound so easy. And
no, it's not easy. No, it's not easy. The low points for me will be all the times that I couldn't actually make it through to whichever space I wanted to be in. If I had gotten on TV3 at 13, that would have been great. That would have been awesome, you know. And then if I had also gotten through to the other places, Sunny, Y, all of those places, that would have been awesome. So those were low points for me, but I didn't let it put me back. And then another low point for me was the break I took, right? I took about a year and a few months off doing active work in media. So that was like 2018 through to 2020-ish, right? I took a break. So one person that actually also pushed me to come back from my break was Mr. Jeff Soa, right? And also Obed Boafo. Obed Boafo was also really instrumental. And then what he said to me is, in this industry, if you're not, even if you are really good and you're not in people's faces constantly, what happens is somebody else comes and then you are forgotten. Right? A few people may know you, but if you are not active in it. So yeah, Jeff Soa and Obed Boafo pushed me back into it. So that's when I started my own production and then content production for other people in 2020. And then in 2021, Dominion. And then, back here.
All right.
Today.
Yeah.
So,
she talks. That's her job. on with the mic. That's her job. And she does it so well. It's not like we are here selling your CVs for somebody to come and take you. I'm saying it. Anyway, but I'll be jumping on to Neeta's story, but real quickly, you know, we've actually hosted women in leadership positions in the media industry before, and today we want to encourage people who are listening with some of these experiences, real life experiences, you know, and the fact that yes, it might look like a walk in the park, but there are certain hurdles that you may have to jump, you know, before you get to, not having to strip down any part of your clothing to achieve those things. But these girls have made it happen regardless. However, Neeta has got a different side of the story to it, I'm very sure. Neeta, mind sharing? And then, I mean, we don't look at how, because you mentioned pregnancy came in and baby came in, beautiful baby boy came in. How old is he now?
He'll be 6 on Friday.
6 years on Friday. Party coming up?
Maybe. Never know.
So we did speak about the fact that, you know, life happens and how that sometimes challenges your focus on the career you selected, and pregnancy is one, and it's such an example, a classic example. I'm sure you'd like 2-3 years of your life just comes to a standstill. Tell us about this.
Actually, with me, I was pregnant when I graduated.
Wow.
Yes. So
from school, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, I mean, when that happened, I was supposed to sign some contracts at multimedia and all that, but it didn't happen because I was pregnant. That was the reason I was given. But I mean, I'm not really going to go into that so much. But afterwards, I mean, I was broken for a while.
Please hold on right there. I want to ask you this question, and feel free. I know you two haven't given birth yet, but I want to understand. Some organizations, individuals, in the interest, and this is coming from men. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Some organizations and individuals rather look at protecting the woman than throwing weight onto the woman with regards to pregnancy. Is it wrong? Or because me, for example, if I come across a woman who's about 6-7 months pregnant, I feel like you are too delicate to be, pressured in any way. Is it wrong to think such, and in the interest of that, hold on with a woman's? Please educate us, since you have been in there. Or men shouldn't think that a woman can dance at 9 months pregnant.
Well, I feel like it's just you being compassionate, you know. But ideally, it depends on the woman. It depends on me. Like for me, for instance, when I got pregnant, nobody even realized I was pregnant. I worked like through all my I worked till like 8 months.
Wow.
Yes, I was working. Like I was coming to work it was even 6 a.m. I closed at 10 p.m. Like I was working throughout because I had a show in the morning and I had one in the evening.
We clap only when you go about this one.
Because I feel like me, when I'm pregnant, even at 3 months, I don't want my hands or my feet to touch anything.
Hey,
Darren, are you here?
me, I didn't have
Yes.
a choice. So
Do you want,
So that's actually really good.
I
do you
didn't have
want
a
to get
choice
pregnant?
actually.
No, I don't. Not now. Not now.
Darren, are you here?
I actually didn't have a choice. Like I needed to work, So I was working like back to back like that. I remember during a view then used to look at me.
okay, so you
sometimes.
said you didn't have a choice, so you had
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
And
I needed
organization-
money
okay.
because, at that time, I didn't know I was even pregnant. Like, it was a shock to me.
Oh.
So later on when I found out, I knew that I needed money. Like, that was a whole journey for me. So I need money. So I didn't have an excuse to stay at home.
Okay, so we also have, you're continuing though, but we also have Whitney Boakye-Mensah. She's also the co-executive producer at 3 Music Women's Branch, who's also on Zoom with us, who'll be detailing also more experiences with regards to, women and when it comes to pregnancy, having a family and all that, how you manage that later on after Neeta does with the story.
Yeah, so actually after delivery, that was when I actually called the office to find out my fate. And then I was told that I couldn't work there anymore. It actually broke me. Like I was broken for like a long time. It was actually my dad that helped me get through it. Used to talk. I used to cry. Like I could be carrying my baby and be crying, and my dad would be like, that's bad. Like you don't need to cry on your baby and all that. So I had to gather all the confidence. One time I just woke up and I called Black City, then Stoneboy's manager. I told him I needed a job, and I knew he was working with xylophone at that time. So, and I worked with Stoneboy back in multimedia too, so like backdoor works, So we had like a very good relationship. So Black City called Sammy Flex, and then that day I was going for the interview. My baby was sick, like very, very sick, that we had just come from the hospital. So I had to go with my dad. My dad was in the car with my baby, and then I had to go in and go and do my interview. I sat down, waiting for Sammy Flex, but then my baby too was in the car. So I was just running in and out.
Breastfeeding small.
Yeah, then I'll come back, But that day I entered, I spoke with him, and like he didn't have any reason to say no to me. He didn't have any reason to say no. And then I also started working on Monday. I don't know, it looks like all the people that I met, they liked Mondays. So
Are you born on Monday?
yeah, I'm a Monday
okay.
kid. So we started working on Monday. I started doing, like, I was writing for the company then. Then we started doing the production and all. But there have been times that, like, sometimes you wake up and you feel like I don't want to continue anymore. I'm so tired of, like my body's so tired and I don't know how this is even going to end again. So let me just quit. But when you quit, what are you going to do? What will your picking chop? So, I mean, I had to get through it. Then I started doing side jobs for people, for artists and all that. So I was fetching money on the other side, small, trying to cater for myself, my baby, my family, my dad, And after I had my kid, my dad went on pension, so you can imagine. So
more pressure.
Yes, so I didn't have a choice at all. Me, I barely sleep. Like, even till now, I barely sleep. Like, I'm always on the grind. I'm always on the grind. If I am not working at my official workplace, I'm doing something else somewhere, And it's helped me because I know that I don't have any, and I lost my mom too. So, it was just a lot happening. I didn't have any help anywhere.
Okay, please hold on right there before I get too emotional. Now,
I'm not emotional.
Okay. No, you get me
not.
emotional. If you get me emotional.
But it should make you tougher though, because even if I'm doing it, if I have done it.
Crying already, please.
Oh, please don't do that.
Yeah, well, we also have Whitney, I mentioned, on the line, join us via Zoom. Let's get her into this conversation as well, because we want to also, document her story and her journey. So, Whitney, good morning and thank you. Sorry for holding you on for too long. Apologies, please. But women's stories are always exciting to hear and very encouraging, as we have a lot more young women out there who look up to, some of these girls here and your generation as well, to believe that it is possible to get there without any, challenges drawing them back. But before we do that, let's hear your story as well, because I know it starts from way back. Or your journey.
I was actually enjoying the story, so hold on was okay.
How did it all begin for Whitney?
I was I've been, funny enough, I've been in the entertainment industry or the media industry for. When I tell people that my background is actually broadcast journalism, but I felt that at that time Solly was small, so I had to go back to school with top up. But I've been in the media forever. I'm part of the Choice FM alumni. I used to work in GBC as well, GBC hosting Curious Minds. So it's been a forever journey, if I put it that way. It's just that, well, now because we have all the social media and all that, so you are more out there, but for some of us, it's been a journey forever.
So you were with the likes of Yao Sechi and the DJ on the drive time on Choice FM. His name just slipped me. It's always Yao Sechi.
Fifi Pratt?
No, not Fifi. There was another. All right. Anyway, please you. Let's keep at it.
Yes, my time. We had Tommy and enforcing Randy Abbey. Randy Abbey used to be manager, news editor. Neelante Vanderpoy, Francis Hago was producers. We had Anne Sechi, Carl Olympio, Mustafa Hamid, who is now in government. And Sechi, who later was running Melting Moments, Ale Sobobi, a whole lot.
Wow,
a whole lot. It was.
Whitney,
yes.
you've taken me so back, because I remember chasing Sechi for to do a commercial. In fact, we did a commercial for Melting Moments when she opened it. I mean, you're just taking way back. But how did you get yourself into Choice in the first place? Because I know at that time there were very few radio stations, and everybody was just chasing after them. So how did you manage to sneak in?
It came from GBC when we used to host Curious Minds with my trainees and mentors there. She's late now, Auntie Gertrude Opariado, and then there's Sarah Kofi-Kwaku and Theresa. They are the old faces of then broadcasting, and some of my mates are Fatima Koino, who is still with GBC. And we used to, Choice then had a classical program, and I think every Sunday that was when we were doing our production for the week. So I would then ask my mom. My mom wouldn't let anybody drive her car. So if you wouldn't let anybody drive your car, then drive me to production.
Yes, he's smiling.
And she used to listen to the classicals on Choice, and it became a thing when we were in the studio, because that's the only thing this woman is sitting in her car listening to. And then I think they had a request program or something, and she would send, and when she sends, she says that they never read her request. So because we knew, then it was, this man, Peter Alabi,
yes,
that he's late now.
Yes.
Nia Alabi, yes, Dr. Nia Alabi. He, and then Nana Essilfua, Nana Essilfua used to interchange. So I was like, oh, okay, I know Nana Essilfua. So I'll send him a message and tell him that, listen, we are the team here at Curious Mind. We listen And my mom especially listens. So if you people can just mention her name once on air, we'll have peace. Funny enough, when I called Nana Essilfua, he was with Dr. Nia Labi. And then they were like, what are you doing with this voice at GBC? You need to bring it to more cosmopolitan radio. And why don't you join us? So why don't we have a meeting and all that? And when I went to the meeting, the offer was good. So that's how come the journey of Choice.
And please, during this time that's in this era you mentioned, did you have more females in or more women in media?
Choice FM, funny enough, Choice FM had a lot of women. That I can vouch for. Choice FM had a lot of women. Lily Opari, Jessica, formerly of City FM, the sister. She's an alumni of Choice FM. Maxine Nukugawa. Choice FM did well. Kudos to Mr. Fred Owari. Choice FM did very well with that. He felt that there were some programs that he felt a woman would understand it better than if a guy was hosting. So he had no qualms. He would tell them that I was not even supposed to host Curious Minds. I was in newsroom, but he said, no, I want somebody who gets kids like that. And he's seen me a couple of times when kids had come for excursions at Choice FM, and he felt that it would be good. So that Mr. Wari did well with that.
Interesting. I have my own stories with Mr. Wari as well.
Everybody has a story with Mr. Wari.
Yeah, I got sacked boots out of his office. Oh, he didn't know me though. I was coming to look for a job. Oh. And it didn't happen. I
there are some days, Mr. Wari, you should have asked. Mr. Wari has special days, like Monday, that Annie was saying. Mondays are good days for Mr. Wari. He's come back from, he has a resort in the central region. So he's come back from there. He's more relaxed. By Wednesday, Thursday, with all the money issues that's coming, all the petty cash.
It was a Thursday morning, 9 a.m.
Longest
That's
time.
why.
It was a Thursday morning. Neeta had shared the story of pregnancy, and how that also came with its challenges. For you as well, what do you make of, the issue of how women get treated, especially in our media industry, or probably even in corporate Ghana, when pregnancy kicks in, and some have lost jobs, some have been undermined, some have been shoved aside, and all of that. I don't know if you have any experiences in there as well.
I have been, for some reason, I have been very fortunate when it comes to me, because I've gone through 7 miscarriages and 2 stillbirths. I mean, it's a story that an NGO that we do now. So I now can share it without that much pain. But and through that journey, I remember after Choice FM, we started, it's amazing. We go way back. We started the very first Radio and Television Awards by Telemark, and I was the coordinator of that. And even at that time with marriage and all that, I remember that our bosses then, I think that it's the whole environment of pregnancy, childbirth, and all that. Let me be frank and call a spade a spade. For some reason, and this is what I have discovered, 7 miscarriages, 2 stillbirths later, having 3 boys, doing what I do now with my dear sister's keeper, you will be shocked that I don't know if it's the work of the universe. Men tend to have more sympathy than women.
It's true. Interesting.
For me, it is a shocking bit about it, where you feel that because she's a fellow woman who would probably walk in that same shoe, or has walked in that same shoe, and would understand you better, they tend to be more judgmental, they tend to be more skeptical, and they tend to be they are not humane to your condition.
You mean men or institutions?
Women.
Or women?
Women in institutions.
Wow.
And we still get that in 2023, where you would think that, listen, we are trying to make strides. It is already hard enough for us out there. How about you make it, you are my fellow woman, so understand me and make my journey a bit easier for me. And you find that it is rather the other way. It is one of the things I am so dumbfounded about. Because I remember that even the times when I was going through, I lost 2 boys. I had 2 stillbirths before I had the 7 miscarriages. It was easier for my boss and then his wife to say that, Whitney, you need a break off. You need to take time off. You can work from home, even when that was not an in thing. But you would get, and then starting my own business, doing mainstream event protocol for concerts and stuff, you will find out that, yes, and I have worked with anybody who knows me knows that all my boys, I have worked with them on every concert that I do. I would have a big headset over their head, and I would have them, fortunately, as part of their the itinerary and everything, the plans we draw and everything. There's always a tent that I have a team that they're with my babies, and I would go and breastfeed, come back and do my work. And you find out that men, you find the guys who will come in and say, okay, you're done breastfeeding, then let me have the baby, so you go and do your stuff till I come back. But sometimes women who come to the concert questioning you, why are you here with your child? Why are you not home with your child? Or if your children are not there, who is at home taking care of the children? Is your husband babysitting? Most times I've had to tell people that my men husbands or partners do not babysit. They're also taking care of their children. It is not babysitting. So why do you think that we should give it a name because a man is doing it? And what is wrong if my husband is at home taking care of his children and I am working? Most of the time you get that question from women, not men. The judgment is always from us. And I think that looking at it and looking at what we do now, it's a cycle. They've hurt people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they've had the situation where they've been hurt. So they're carrying that cycle along. And it is just up to us at a point to say that this stops with me. I will be more humane to another woman's condition, because no 2 pregnancies. When Neeta was talking and she was saying that nobody knew and I was going to work at 7, I was like, wow. Because for some of us, as soon as a baby or a fetus drops in our stomach, it is no baby, no home, because of our history. And the least mistake we would make, it will result in another miscarriage. So no 2 pregnancies are the same. I actually envy people who are pregnant and they can dance, they can wear high heels, they can walk about. Listen, when Rihanna was pregnant, I was living through that girl. The way she was dressing, her stomach is out there, she's living her life. I cannot even announce I am pregnant until the baby arrives. That is how sensitive sometimes some of these pregnancy issues are. So no pregnancy, just because you probably had an easy pregnancy, does not mean everybody has an easy pregnancy. Yeah. And that is also why I get peeved when I hear men say, Boko sa wo. When you have no 2 iota of what it takes to even have your menses.
That leads me to the, I promised to ask the question at 9:50. I'm just a minute away from 9:50. And let's use that to wrap this up. Let me start off with you so I can let you off the hook quickly. That what would would our let me just bring it down to entertainment so that we can narrow it down easy. Would an entertainment space be had? Would the entertainment space be any different, better, or less of itself if we had women managing the major like we do now, but being the gatekeepers, the and engaging in more roles in media than how almost it is a male-dominated space?
It would women have it's been shown that women are better managers, because we tend to encompass everything. Unlike men who think straight according to the line they've told, women tend to spread out. I think that it will be a good space to see women in setting lead roles. But prior to them being in that lead roles, we are taking up spaces. And I want us to challenge ourselves that in the space that I am in, what difference am I making in that space? You should be able to look back at a year and ask yourself that this dog that I have walked through, the shoulders I have stood on to look at where I am. Can somebody stand on my shoulder to look further? Have I opened more doors for other people? And for me, that is why when the Three Music Women's branch came, I didn't even think twice about taking up that role, because it's such a big door that you can open for more women to walk through, and not just walk through, but make impact. Make a difference, make sure that that door, 1,000 others can walk through and they can bring others along. So as much as we are clamoring that spaces, we should be given leadership role or spaces to also lead, we've made strides. You cannot deny that in our industry, we've made certain strides. But whilst we are making that stride, let us not forget that there are others behind us who need to also walk through the doors we're walking in.
Amazing. Just please, in 30 seconds, just wrap this up for me about, have you seen any improvements, from the then days of the early GBC choice up until now in how women have been engaged? Or it's a rather a decline?
If I say I haven't, I would be lying. Yes, I've seen improvements. Even though there's more space for more improvement, but I've seen improvement, and I've seen where these days it's easy for us to see that some rules that usually in the past you see that men in the past, every newsroom used to be headed by a man. I don't know if you remember. Mm-hmm. Every newsroom you walked is headed by a man. Every production team you walk to is headed by a man. And then they will give women positions like, she's in charge of, she's an assistant this or assistant that. But lately that is changing. And I think that we are making strides. The conversation is hard to have. The other thing to Jay, let me quickly put in this. I think that in as much as we're also asking for that, we need to tell true stories. Because sadly, the generation after us, they are in a hurry. So they are not ready to walk through the lines we have told, the journeys we are making. They feel like there's a timeline for everything. Because unfortunately, in the past, you didn't have certain pressures to look at or certain people in your faces. If you see them, if they don't come on your TV, they don't come on your radio, you hardly hear from them. But now everywhere you pass, there's something in your face about somebody who has made it at a certain age, somebody who has done this at a certain stage. And it is making, especially because I work with a lot of young girls, it is making them very impatient. So when you are even telling them story of successes and you are talking about the fact that you had to go through the ropes, you haven't slept with anybody.
Yes.
You are making it on your own. They think you're lying. They actually
know,
tell
right?
you that, oh,
I know,
for me, I
right?
get that. Hey, Auntie Whitney, it's
right?
not like that. You get that every time. They want to leave school at 18 or 20, have a house in East Legon by 22, be driving a Range Rover by 23, have more houses in certain locations at certain age, fly first class. It's a timeline they have. So as soon as it is not happening that way, they are impatient.
All right. Please.
And we need to let them know that hard success and hard work is a journey, is a never-ending journey. Because if you look at even the richest people in the world, they are still on that journey. Even with all the monies they've made, they could say that, listen, I won't work for the rest of my life. But they wake up every morning going to work. So we need to tell true stories, especially the women, because we can connect with these girls easier. We need to tell true stories. I mean, Jay,
I have to hold you there because my time is up. But I have to hold you there. But thank you so much. And this is what we are going to actually wrap up the show on, telling these true stories, and with the fact that live in real time. That's how I'm going to put it. Live in real time. Whitney, thank you so very much. We truly appreciate it. Our time is up. We have to wrap up on the conversation, but you've really shared some really good insights into this conversation, and we hope that a lot of young girls out there, and even not really young girls, women out there, would actually heed to some of the things that you have shared here. Thank you so much, and we truly appreciate it.
Belated birthday to her too.
Oh, happy
birthday was yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk more about this NGO when we do get the chance one of these days on air as well. Thank you so much.
We have women.
Yes. Okay. So because of time, we have to wrap this up quickly. But she just touched on something real quick about that, about living in this real time thing. I don't know how you're going to react to that. And it's very true. A lot of
So I have this experience where several times I keep asking. I think I've asked Cyril once. I think I've asked Lerny once. Even my mom. Every time I feel like I'm not doing enough. Every time I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere that I'm not, because of our generation right now. There's this thing that keeps feeding us in our heads that makes us feel like you're supposed to have a car by now, you're supposed to have your own place by now. Like, people keep asking me, why haven't you moved out of the house, And there's this so much pressure with it. I keep asking myself, am I doing it right? Like, just taking my time and going through and growing, I feel it, right? But sometimes I feel like I'm supposed to be doing better. Like, I'm supposed to be somewhere that I'm not. And trust me, it makes me feel down. I have been depressed because of that one time. And I had to come out of it talking to my mom. And they even thought I'd need a therapist. It's not a joke. Like, it's a very serious thing where people make you feel like you should be somewhere.
Please, I have one last question. I have to ask Cyril this one. Because as far as the girls' question, Charlie, woman way make up. Hey,
it's not true.
You
I know what you're going to say. It's not
hardest
true.
job.
Hey, woman will make up.
Hardest job in the world.
He go rush you. See, hey, you see, I
Sister, how many? Let me ask the
woman
three
will
of you.
make up.
Let me ask the three of you. How many women have you spoken to like that before?
Woman will make up. You can't even approach her.
Approach her. A woman who don't make himself hard
We
already.
praise you for, bro. We praise you for 40 something minutes.
The woman who don't make him already said he had.
He had.
You are just not
Way make up.
Random woman. He had. Ask Darich. Yesterday, Darius wanted to pay, right? It was exam. Let me pay.
See, I mentioned this guy's name.
Just Darius.
Right?
Let's use Darius as example. He wanted to pay. Darius said, here's my money. Take it. That was hard.
I don't want anything in exchange.
Then imagine if the store was for Lerny and her Range Rover was outside. They'll sack that guy.
Who do you think you are?
Darius, what are you buying here?
Who do you think you are?
You be something to everybody. Come on.
Get out.
No.
Then when she goes, she's I met some boy.
Some name Gary.
He came, no, you pay for me.
See, it's hard. It's hard to talk to a girl on a regular day.
A successful girl.
And then when it's successful, it's over. But you guys have done well. Today I've been listening. Today I've said 3 words. You people have done well. You are very inspiring. You are inspirational to me. And it's hard. I understand from your various stories that it's not easy like that. Honestly, you've chronicled situations that I have never been in. Right? As a guy, like the door opens, people listen to you. People give you a chance. You fail over and over again. They'll be like, oh, try run up. But it's like you guys you don't even have the chance. And when you get the chance, it's red alert throughout. And For you to be here today, you've done well.
We
Just
thank you.
I pop champagne for all my babies. You are doing well.
I just wish that we have a lot of women,
Yeah.
Some initially
We had
at least
example, if you were in there, you'd be saying we should go.
in 60 seconds, don't worry.
She's producing on the show.
Actually,
We have 10 seconds.
I realized that it's when I got here that I realized that I'm getting to see a lot of women.
Yeah.
All the places that I've worked, I was mostly the only woman in an MCR. Like in a production room, I was mostly the only woman. And sometimes it felt some type of way. But at least now I turn around, I can see one girl in the corner somewhere. I can turn and see that there's someone else there who is also trying to be there, So, I mean, you can never get in
Please,
front of
if you were in the studio, you'd be saying, Jay, we have to go. So 3, 2, 1, we have to go. Thank you,
10
ladies,
seconds.
so much. Thank you so much. It's been a great conversation here on Women Crush Mondays. And I think it will only be fair that we have the same conversation on Mondays as well.
For many.
From men.
And on that note, my name is Ajwa.
Kojo,
Joke.
I'll not be
We're back here
advanced today.
tomorrow.
Ajwa fully.
Enjoy the rest of your day.